It might be good if the rates are high, and it might be good if they go lay down, and it might be good if we build this ship, and it might be good if we scrap this ship, and it might be good with a GRI, and it might be good with a PSS by, and it might be good if we go decarb, and it might be good if we do it right, and it might be good if we make it fit, and it might be good if we go for it, and it might be good if we synergize, and it might be good if we solve this now. Hey!
Hi, Thijs.
Hello, Niels. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you feeling?
Oh, very good. I'm excited to be here.
Okay.
Thanks very much for the invite.
Mm.
Looking forward to have a nice conversation with you.
Okay.
So,
Let's do that.
right.
Right. So, Thijs, can you, in your own words, tell me who you are? It can be a short, can be long, can be detailed, can be not.
Okay.
Who are you?
I'll go into a bit of detail there on
Okay.
this question. On items that I think is relevant for the conversation that we are having right now. As a child, I had one dream. And this dream was that I wanted to become a lorry driver. And don't ask me why. It just happened to jump in my mind from a very young age. I'm talking about 12 years of age. And that was the thing that I liked. Looking back at it, it's maybe because of the fact that trucks are big.
Mm-hmm.
Trucks have a lot of technology inside them. And also truck drivers tend to travel, so they see different places. The bad luck was that there was nobody in my family, friends or neighbors that was involved in trucking. So this meant that this dream of becoming a truck driver was never spoiled by having the real experience of what it is like to be driving a truck. So that is still something that is in my mind. Then I went to school, and after school I did my bachelor. I did a bachelor degree in Zwolle, Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering. And during the studies, I found out that what I liked was the interaction between technology and people.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why it is maybe not so strange that the first job I got was in a sales engineering role of a company making steel sub-assemblies for the industry. And also I think that the person that had hired me there, Rob is his name, he must have seen something in me and decided to hire me in this role without any experience. And this person, he turned out to be an important coach throughout my life. I learned a lot from him about how to deal with people, how to deal with changes and things like this. So my first experience was in this sales role. After that, I spent a very short period of time selling trailers for heavy haulage in the north of England and Scotland. Then I returned back to the Netherlands, and Rob, who moved on to a next company, was the general manager of a producer of cleaning products in the fast-moving consumer goods.
Okay.
And his way of coaching me meant that he had hired me as a team coach in the factory. As a team coach, I guided a team of around 20 operators, all with different backgrounds, different capabilities, etc. And I learned a lot as well by the hard way, just by making mistakes and seeing that certain behavior is not effective.
Mm.
And then I worked in this company for 6 years, but it was doing a 3-shift operation.
Okay.
At that time, I also met my wife, And the commitment that I gave to my wife is that if we were going to live together in the center of the Netherlands, that I promised that I would find a job in a day operation. So I would also make sure that I would be at home, which makes sense. So that's where I've been founding my new job, another trailer company. And I worked in their service department. I did more commercial roles, but also went into operational roles. And in the last period of working at that company, I was doing their procurement.
Okay.
From here, it is important to know that my wife works at a big multinational.
Okay.
And for her point in the career at that moment in time, it was important to get some international exposure. And that is where we went to our first post outside the Netherlands, which was Ethiopia. We spent 2 years in Addis Ababa. And I consider myself to be a modern guy, which means that I'm following my wife. I quitted a job in the Netherlands. I went to Ethiopia, found a job there, worked in a company that was involved in building products, corrugated sheet and profiles that is used to build. They used to build churches and mission buildings and things like this. They were kind of an NGO. And when I was there, I helped them to turn it more into a commercial operation, where we were also selling our products to just commercial other companies. And it helped that company to be more self-sufficient and self-sustainable. After Ethiopia, the next place that my wife was sent to was Dublin, Ireland.
Okay.
And this is where shipping comes in.
Ah.
Because when I was looking for a job in Ireland, I found a vacancy from a Irish family company, shipping company. And by reading it, I thought this is something that I like. There's elements in it that I really like. And long story short, they hired me, and that's where I entered the world of shipping.
Okay.
And also, as a next step, my wife was sent to Singapore. So I again resigned the job that I had and went to Singapore, and also found work in shipping in Singapore, which of course is fantastic because Singapore is such an important hub in shipping. So that's not a nutshell, but that's a bit the story there.
Okay, that's quite a nut, for sure. How old were you when you made a choice of following your wife to the international journey?
How old?
Yes.
I was. That was 2012, so I was 40 years old.
Okay. What goes to your mind when you have to choose between staying in your country and following your partner?
Doing something new is exciting. Doing something new is a new adventure. And I think in different points in my life, I've not shied away from taking the adventurous step. Better regret something that you've done than regret not doing something at all.
Okay.
So yes, I was happy to do that. I was open to experience new things in my life, and I must say I'm really thankful how much new experiences, new insights, new friends it has brought that we made a decision to take that journey.
I get that, and I think you hinted towards that, the fact that you were thinking about to be a lorry driver. There's a part on traveling, on discovering. Was there any member of your family or relatives that had taken the journey of expatriation, or you're kind of the first in the line? Belgium doesn't count.
Yeah, no. Yes, I do have an aunt, and she has always been working with foreign affairs. So she's been working in different embassies all over the world. And I must say, retrospectively, that as a child, I found it super interesting when she was around and she was telling about the different places that she was living in, like Argentina, like Mexico, India. She's also been in Africa. And fair point is that when we were asked to move to Ethiopia, it was this aunt that I had a dinner with and asked her for advice. Listen, this is what is ahead of us. What is your opinion? What should we do? So she had in a way an influence on the decision of us. Yeah.
Super interesting. Okay, so you start in shipping in Ireland.
Yeah.
And in Singapore. If I list out in what you have told me, you have resigned maybe 4 times already.
Yes.
My first time resigning was, I'm not sure a struggle, but it was a journey in my mind, you know. I had to write on a piece of paper, I, Niels Sylvain Locher, you know, resign from this, to make it, you know, something I can grasp also. How is it, or how was it for you, if you remember?
No, I can remember that very well, and it was very much, I could explain what was happening. I tend to be an open guy, so people knew about things that was happening in our life. And also, the first time I resigned, when I was working in this trailer manufacturer, I had been asked to do a certain task by the owner. Mm-hmm. And I told the owner before I started the task, listen, this is what is playing in our lives. This is the risk that is at stake. So my possibilities for commitment is restricted. Mm-hmm. But I can give you a commitment till a certain date, which I did, and I delivered it.
Okay.
So it was more like people were expecting that there was a point in time that I was about to leave.
Okay, so honesty and straightforwardness is something that helped you to go through.
Yeah, and be transparent. Let the people understand what is happening, and also explain it in such a way that they will come to the same conclusion. Thijs, we understand. There's no other option. So I have to say that when I left those companies, I've always been leaving on very good terms, which means that I'm still in contact. Which means that if they need help, even if I've left the company already, yes, I'll be there to help. And I'm confident that will have openings for the future as well.
Sure. I'm spending a bit of time because at least when I was younger, and I know a lot of friends that think like that, the young friends, sometimes resigning is perceived when you are going through as a failure, you know, as something that, well, it's giving up of sort, right? So that's why I'm very curious on how you have experienced through, but it's very clear. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not so much in a failure, no.
No, right? Doesn't have to be.
A development, a next step.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's a journey.
Yes. Journey is scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. What happened when you come in Singapore? Do you do purchasing already?
No, arriving in Singapore, I was already in purchasing in my previous job, so I clearly wanted a next job in the area of purchasing, in shipping, because that's where I found that I had my passion as well. And look at when you arrive at Singapore, the first thing that you see is the Singapore Strait full of ships, so there must be a lot of work there as well. Though, to be frankly fair, finding a job as an expat trailing spouse is not the easiest, as there are certain rules and regulations here in Singapore that I'm not complaining about it. I think they are fair, but I know that you have to deal with it, and for a person in my position, that was a struggle. That was difficult. Okay. So it took me quite a bit of time to finally find the job at this company here in Singapore, which was a fantastic opportunity.
I can not relate to that because I was the how do you call that? Not the trailing spouse, but the other one.
You were the expat, the person that was hired.
Yeah, I was the one. I was a job, but my wife went through, and I think it takes a lot from the discussions I had with her. Right, it's fantastic to have so much trust on a partner that you can follow them throughout the world. It's not that you don't have a worry in the world, because of course you want to do something, but the level of love that it takes in both, the giver and the receiver on on the one thing you don't have to worry in the world. I'm covering, find something that talks to you, and there's one that also can say, you know what, I don't have a credit card in my name. The house is signed in your name, the phone bill is in your name, but you're there for me. I think that's quite. I'm very grateful for that. It's quite wonderful.
I think it is a fantastic example of teamwork.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, if you are in a good relation, you are in a good team, and you trust each other, and it's the trust has to be mutual, because it's really a situation of give and take. And I do find it interesting, because there's not always much attention for trailing spouse. It's always about the person that gets that fantastic job, stays in the same company more often than not, and just continues where they were. Where for the trailing spouse, it is really acquiring a certain flexibility, creativity in finding a next job. And maybe that job, I had a job in Ethiopia that was absolutely not paying, not a well-paid job, but I didn't care. And it was also not a job completely in line with my career. But at the end of the day, it was a job. I learned things, and I was able to have a purpose, and that is important, to find a purpose when you're here as a trailing spouse. And let's be honest, that I've been struggling with that from time to time.
Sure.
Certainly when it takes a longer time and there's not a perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
You start to talk about meaning, about purpose, about salary may not be the only consideration to have, of course, in certain parameters. Do you want to talk to me about the book you gave me recently?
Yeah. That is something I'm really very enthusiastic about. That's the Ikigai. Finding a purpose has been a topic in my life. And a friend of mine, he actually posted a picture of this book on his Insta page. And when I saw it, I thought like, oh, that's interesting. So I bought the book. I read the book. It's about longevity, have a long life, become old. I'm not 100% convinced that becoming old is really a target. But there was a part in the book that was about the purpose, or about what you wanted to do in your life. And in fact, it's 4 circles. First circle is, what is it that you like doing?
Okay.
The second one is, what is it that you're good at?
Okay.
And then is the third circle, what does the world need?
Okay.
And the fourth one is, where can you make your money? And if you find something that you're good at, something that you like doing, something that the world needs, and you can make money with it, that is where you found your Ikigai. That's where you found your purpose. And I found this simple theory fascinating.
Okay.
Yeah, I used this book. I made a trip quite recently, a road trip where I invited different friends, and I used this book as a starting point for a conversation. And everybody will have something to add to it, something to say about it. It's very interesting.
Do you think it's an objective, or it's a companion for your journey, this Ikigai mindset? Do you think you have to find this Ikigai spot, or you think it's more something that helps you navigate your story?
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah. It's something to help to navigate. In fact, another thing, another saying that resonates with me is, life is a journey, not a destination. So in that respect, Ikigai is the journey. It's not the destination. It's not that you really will find that sweet spot and say, okay, here I am and now I'm done. No, it is about using these ideas to help you to find what is it where you're at your best. And when you're at your best, you feel it. You feel it in your body, in the interaction that you have with people. And that is a pleasant place to be. And it's also a place where your contribution to others is optimum. So optimal, sorry. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the next step of your journey then?
Yeah. That's a very good question at this point in time. I have set my mind on going back to Europe.
Okay.
We as a couple have been in Singapore for, well, by the end of the years, we will have been here for 4 years.
Mm.
And to be frankly honest, I'm missing my friends and family, and also like to be in an area that is a little bit cooler, because I do still experience Singapore to be extremely hot and humid. And so I think for me it would be a good moment now to move back to Europe.
There is loneliness in this expat life. I found sometime.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I mean, it's a chance. It's wonderful. It's but doesn't mean it's a sweet, lovely journey all the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So back to procurement purchasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Staying in shipping and stay in procurement. That's the aim. Yes.
Okay. Can I ask what's the key difference between the job you have had in Singapore, or the jobs, I don't know, and the one you're gonna take? Apart from the geography, obviously.
Okay, yeah. In Singapore, I was working at quite a big company.
Okay.
A company that had close to 100 vessels sailing worldwide, basically. So quite a big operation, and also I was responsible for a team of 30 people, and the company was also developing in terms of further professionalizing. So there was a lot of things going on. I found out that I'm a practical guy, and I'd like to sit very close to the business. And I found that in the role that I had at this company, that was not my sweet spot. That was not where I'm at best. So I would be looking at a smaller company, smaller fleet, and being closer to the business myself, with my feet in the mud, if you wish.
Okay. It may be a difficult question, but how do you realize that that's what you like the most? To be grounded, to be doing the dirty work, if you want to call it like that. I should call it like that. But
yeah.
What does it take to realize that? How do you figure out?
Yeah,
right?
that is relating back to the question you asked earlier. If you want to go to live in different countries, if you experience different things, you also have the opportunity to find out what works well and what works less for you. And by the opportunity that was given to me to work in this company here in Singapore, I've also been able to learn things that work less for me. I have to be honest in that.
Sure.
And these is the things that will help you. And I think it's not a failure, or it's not it's just gaining experience, and that new experience will help you to navigate the next steps in your career and to find a place where you are at best.
I don't know what's the adjective, but I think it takes a lot of, I'm going to say, wisdom for a moment, not to perceive failure as something negative, but as just as another experience and something bound to happen, right? I think it's interesting. Okay, so from 30 people leadership to a smaller group, I imagine.
Handful. Great.
Okay. Yeah. Do you manage differently? Do you lead differently 30 people than you will do 3?
No.
Okay.
No, I think my way of leadership is that I care about all individuals. I have high values in equal treatment of people. So if I treat one person one way, I'll treat another person the same way, and then it doesn't matter how big the team is. And also I care about giving people personal attention, because I think personal attention is what brings good things in people.
How do you, in your mind, differentiate? Because you use the term equal, you treat them equally.
Yeah.
How you differentiate or define equally versus fairness?
Yeah, same.
Same for you?
Yeah, equal is also fair. Yeah.
Okay. How does that compare to, I know the French word, I'm terrible in English. Equitable? Equitable? Equitable.
Yeah.
The fact that, if you do, is this meme or this image where you have people that are of different size,
Yeah.
right? They are taller, shorter,
Yeah.
and you give them the same box
Yeah.
to step in
Yeah.
and see the football game.
Yeah.
But if you give the same box to somebody that is shorter in size
Yeah.
versus somebody that is mid,
Yeah.
you have been equal in
Yeah.
how you treat them,
Yeah.
but they
Okay.
don't produce the same.
Yeah. Okay. If you see the box as that if you give the same boxes to all those peoples, I would say I would give the boxes that will enable the people the same possibilities.
Mm.
So maybe the boxes is not the same,
Ah,
but the help I give them
okay.
should enable them to to achieve the same things as their colleagues. And some need a bit more attention in this direction, some a bit more in another direction. But with that aid, they should be able to all perform.
Mm. In Dutch, do you have different word for that? Like in French, we have égal. And-
Yeah. Ooh.
Mm. So which one is for equal already?
Yeah. Gelijk.
Gelijk.
Gelijk would be the word.
Okay.
Even.
Even.
Equal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I learned something.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay. Apart from being hands-on, what would you say has been a revelation for you on I prefer smaller structure, more direct transactional relationship? What else do you prefer in a small structure, in a SMC, than you prefer in a corporate environment?
Yeah, but what I really appreciate is to work as a team
Okay.
and to be able to see the impact
Mm.
of the contributions of the team members. And an example in my shipping life is that I really like to be on board the ships because that is where I learned a lot. And also for my team members, I will always encourage them, go on board a ship. Actually, in this last company, we had a program where people from the office could sail on a ship. I think that is a fantastic idea because so many people, like myself, enter shipping without seafaring experience.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that you really need that seafaring experience. I think it's good to have colleagues that have it, and it's logical that some colleagues don't have it. But for the colleagues that don't have it, it is such an added value if they have been given the opportunity to sail on board a ship, to connect. And in terms of my discipline, procurement, the team sits behind the computer, orders all kind of stuff. To see what the result is on board a ship of the goods that you've ordered. Are they using it? Are PPE, the boiler suits, are they comfortable, nice to wear? All those things, it is so important to be able to get that feedback. Because then, when you are back in your office and you make the next order, you are more aware of the influx of your decision to what's happening on board the ship. So, and yeah, I may be wrong in that, but I tend to be able to have a better control over this in a smaller environment than big. Yeah.
Okay. I echo that. If you think about cargo flow job, so capacity managers, right, or even pricers in shipping, in container shipping, they work with Excel most of the time, or an ERP, but let's say Excel for a moment. And you know, a TEU is a TEU, 100 TEU is 100 TEU. Why not 102, right? And then as long as they don't see the reality of what is a box, how the weight of a container can influence on the listing of the ship, then it's very difficult to, I think, to take the best decisions, to be honest, because you will think, okay, if I push this or this will go, but there's a lot that you should take into account before taking a decision in an Excel.
Yeah. Do you agree that for people that work in shipping with not a seafaring past, a history, that being on board a ship is an advantage, is a good thing?
Yeah, I do. some of the best, again, container shipping, ship planners have none, the ones that make the storage planning, right?
Yeah.
The box on the ship. They will recognize themselves if one day they hear that. History license, degree. One was a journalist degree.
Oh, well.
So absolutely not meant to be. But the first jobs they got in shipping was agent, port agent. So they would go on the ship, talk with the captains and the crew, see the operations happening, deliver documentation, right? So the husbandry thingy. And then they worked as a ship planner.
Wow.
And they were the best.
Because of the experience that they got as in their agent roles.
You have to think so, because how a guy that studied history and geography for a degree can end up to be minded and having a reality where they can make a storage plan in 10 minutes that takes you an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. You talked about how sometimes procurement can be sitting behind a screen. What is the space for creativity in procurement versus discipline, SOP?
Yeah. Creativity is about trying to understand what is going on. And for purchasing, I always say the job is not rocket science. It's very practical. It's very down to earth. But it can be complicated in terms of the ships are moving. Mm-hmm. So you have to deliver your goods to a ship that is moving all across the world. And this is also where there is a difference between container shipping that is done mainly through lines. Mm-hmm. So you know quite well in advance at what date the ship will call at what port. Makes it more or less easier to plan where to supply your ships and also to pick what is the ideal point of supply, where prices is most competitive and quality is also best. Mm-hmm. The experience I had before was in a company that did bulkers, more on the spot trade. So we would not know a week in advance where the ships was going. So that would add another complexity towards when and where to supply the ships. Mm-hmm. So it is about finding the right products, having them delivered at the right port, and of course the owner wants you to pay the correct price to it as well. So that's the things that make the job of purchasing and shipping, in my opinion, a very interesting job. And you asked about creativity. The creativity is, where do you find your suppliers that are able to help you with that? What is the theory? What is the strategy that you put in place? Will you, for example, go for supplying ships always in a certain port? Well, that was a theory that for part of the fleet that I was working with in Singapore would apply, because around 70% of the ships would call Singapore. So if you had a good supplier base in Singapore, on the journey at the point that the ships were calling Singapore, that was the point that everything was fired at them to fill the ships up, mm-hmm. stock them up and go. In my other job, it was much more about making sure that you had good and reliable suppliers at different ports. At that time, it was in Europe, so a different strategy. So the creativity is, what is the strategy that fits best for fulfilling the job?
Okay.
And what is important at the end of the day is making sure that you know the right people, that they know you, that you have proven to be trustworthy, because trust in shipping, especially when you work with suppliers that you're not calling every month or every week, then trust is important, that they know that if they get an order from you, the order will be paid, they get their money as well. And then this is the guys that you can phone and that will do the extra mile. Yeah.
Do you think your sales background, when you were in the beginning of your career, has influenced how you see procurement? Because right now, how you describe it is almost as you're a relationship manager. You must maintain your relationship. Yeah. Even if you don't call them or put a purchase order to them, you will maintain.
Absolutely. That is very important. And I think my sales experience has turned out to be a fantastic learning school to be a good purchaser, because I I can imagine myself sitting on the other side of the table, and I can imagine what the person is looking for, and the aim is, can we find something that we are both happy about? And that's a huge advantage.
Okay, I see. You talked of a gentleman named Rob as a mentor. Was there someone else throughout your career or your life that you had a huge, inspiration from and could talk with and that will guide you?
Well, I have to give Rob credit for being the most important person in my professional life. He's been the one, I told you about it before, that saw something in me, hired me. He was a very non-conformistic person. He would have shown me things that do the unexpected. Have a behavior that people don't expect from you, because that's where you get dynamics, that's where you get energy. So that is very important lessons. Also, he taught me about the world-class manufacturing practices. 5S is being one of them. Well, I love it. And I've always been, in any company I've been working, I've introduced 5S as a system to create ownership on the work floor. So also in the company in Singapore, I was responsible for the warehouse. The warehouse was, well, a bit unorganized, let's put it that way.
Sure.
And by introducing 5S to the team, they've been able to, well, do simple things, paint paths on the floor, create areas where to stock things, organize things better. And that is something that I learned years ago from Rob, that the technology or the ideas behind it. So, he's the most important guy in that respect. And he has been, unfortunately, Rob has died. He passed away.
Sorry.
Yeah. But he has been in my life always. And there was always moments that we met up with each other, had a chat. How are you going on? He was at one point he was retiring, so but he was still following me and asking me questions. And if I had questions, if I had doubts, if I had what we talked about before, a situation, should I move to a different country? Should I do it? Should I not do it? He's been the guy that was listening to what I had to say, and he basically, he didn't say what to do. He just asked questions. Very, very good coach.
Okay. I think I see him living through you now. The kindness, the care, the openness. That's definitely in you. All right. What is 5S?
5S, very good question. 5S, it's a Japanese system consisting of 5 steps, and the Japanese words to it all start with an S.
Okay.
I can't remember I can't tell you by heart the words in Japanese. My Japanese is a bit rusty. Basically, it is about if you have a workplace, can be even an office, the first step that you have to do is segregate. So segregate the things that you want to keep and you don't want to keep.
Okay.
Second step is for the items that you don't want to keep, throw them away. You don't need them. The items that you want to keep, give them a dedicated space so you find them back. Then the third step is about cleaning. Make sure that you keep your place clean and tidy. The fourth step is about making arrangements the cleaning is not a one-off, but the cleaning should be part of an ongoing thing. So make the cleaning, but not only the cleaning, but also taking care of things. If you have a new item that is added to your workshop, whatever, give it a fixed place like you did in the beginning with the other items that you wanted to keep. And then the fifth one is be enthusiastic about 5S. Spread the word.
Okay. It's not a cult, right?
No,
Oh,
you
okay.
can make it up to a cult if you want. I think you can go as far as that, but it is really a way of living. We've done this 5S program in this fast-moving consumer goods, and we were producing one of the most funny products in the world, which is the toilet duck, the cleaning product.
Okay.
It is the product where that you buy in the supermarket, and after you bought it, the first thing you do is you throw it in the toilet.
True.
Which is funny.
Yes.
So it's a funny product. But we were working at the production lines that were produced, filling these bottles and capping them. And also on these production lines, we introduced 5S with these operators that were absolutely not interested to do whatever looked like a program like this. And there was even some guys that were really hesitant. And then after a bit of explanation, a bit of showing them the results and showing them what could fix, even the persons that were the most hesitant from the beginning, at the end of the day, were the ones that were enthusiastic about it, and they really lived it. So they really reached step 5 to spread the enthusiasm. Well, if you can be in a situation where you can add a little bit to these successes, that's fantastic.
Yeah. This touch on change management, where always when somebody comes with a change and saying, let's do like that, there's going to be resistance, more or less, right? But I think I liked your example where proof is in the pudding, right? So if you manage to show value directly to the users, then the likelihood of success is very high.
Yeah.
Maybe often when those big program of change of ERP or new program, new system, or new even SOPs, right, are proposed to the employees, I think the step we miss as management is to cascade and explain and demonstrate that value. But it's sometimes, I guess, harder to demonstrate a value across, the company, or the fact that the value may not sit with the team that you're talking to, but another one.
Somewhere else, yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking about in this case is the picture. Take a picture before you start, and take a picture when you finished, and see the difference between those two pictures.
Okay.
And of course, by implementing an ERP system, that's a little bit more difficult to catch in a picture. But the fact to see differences between a start and an end, if you're able to visualize this and have a team and people believe in it, that is so motivating.
I like the fact that you say that you should take an action to see a result. You say, take a picture of the start, take a picture of the end, and show the differences, right? I think it goes a lot with personal beliefs on, ask and you shall receive. You should ask first. So if you don't do the action, off. And there's the same concept in Islam, where if you do something about it, then there's a possibility that things change, right?
Yeah.
And makes me think of a quote that says, the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Sometimes you expect or you hope or you intend that the transformation succeed, but you don't put the work of for example, what you just said, right? Saying, let's take a picture all together at the beginning and at the end. That's work.
Yeah.
It's an extra step too, So just expect doesn't work.
Yeah.
Just pray doesn't work.
Is there things in your job that you are proud of in terms of changes that you've been able to have pictures? Can you do you have pictures before and after? Maybe not factual pictures, but pictures of situations.
Yeah. No, definitely the last job I had, yes. I had multiple teams in the department, and they were function based. So sometimes it's very good to organize yourself as a function. So you have, I'm going to speak in specific terms a bit, but you have those storage planners we were talking about.
Yeah.
Then you have people handling the schedule of the ship, right?
Yeah.
Where they go, there are the lines. It's very good to organize yourself functionally if you want to ramp up the competency in a certain discipline. Once you have reached a certain level and you see that there is expertise in both teams, for example, then I took the bet to say, I'm going to break that. I'm going to break the silo, which I saw as a silo. It's not negative, it's what it is. And say, I think it's better for people to be end-to-end. So they're not going to do more. They're going to do differently and in different things. Because I trusted that they will be happier to spend 8 hours, 9 hours at work if they could understand more of what's happening. And the results have been very positive. I won't tell names, but I have at least one gentleman that come to me. He's 45, 2 kids. I've done storage planning all his life, and told me, I would have liked you to arrive earlier in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
You can feel that, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
And that's great. Again, that doesn't work with everyone, but it worked with those teams. And I'm very happy of that, and I can definitely show a before and an after. And it's very silly, but even the org chart, where you have people that before were splitted and having two different mail addresses, etc.
Yeah.
Now you merge them and you do small teams, and you tell them, now this is your scope. Now you handle end to end. Whatever is happening in there is for you to handle. I'm here for training. I'm here for guidance, but now it's your baby.
Wow.
Because I was seeking to make them feel more accountable, more ownership of it. Yeah. I remember the title of the slide was "Take ownership of your performance or of your day." I can't remember now, but something like that. Yeah. And because for me, and it's a word you used at the beginning of our conversation, it's the Niels right now, and for a few years, I've been seeking impact. You used impact before, talking about how you like to work in smaller settings still. I understand that, and I have empathy for that, because it's definitely something that drives me. Did not always. Years ago, it was more about the job, the position, getting a salary. I was in a situation where I needed to earn money. Left the parents' house a bit in an impromptu manner, let's say. Yeah. So my life has been, with different goals, I would say, or guidance. But impact has been what drives me the most recently. Yeah. And I wanted that also to see if that will work with the people. If you tell them, now you have a scope of accountability that is not functional. It's you have a whole set of services and lines that are with you, and you must learn from each other. Of course, I will guide you, but you must learn from each other, functional experts of both sides, to grow together.
I listen what you say, and I can also see passion in this, because it's also something. You're treating people, if I may say, the way that you want to be treated. Sure. In a way.
Yes.
Did it work for everybody, or was there also people in the team that found that difficult and that would appreciate to stick in their what you call silo?
Mm-hmm. Actually, the same man I'm talking about that in the end came to me and said those things halfway through was telling me, this is too much and it's not for me, and I'm too old and I want to spend time with my kids, so I don't want to leave at 6 instead of 5:30. And it took sparring. It took time to discuss with him, to understand his pain and understand what's the pain point, or what were the pain points, plural, right? Is it understanding? Is it tooling? Is it mindset? Is it everything? Is it workload, in the sense that okay, something new, maybe they can learn, but not if they have also to deliver a full job on the side, right? I remember that quote from a leader in Maersk: you cannot transform and perform at the same time.
Yeah. Cost energy.
Yeah. It's unless you have so much staff that you're overstaffed, and therefore you have the mass and you can put that on the teams, but usually you don't have that. CEO won't let you have 30% more people just for the sake of it, right? So you have to choose. And so that's what we did, actually. We discussed, we identified the part of knowledge. So, I took on me to say, next month, every day, you're going to spend an hour with me, and you ask any question that you have.
Oh, wow.
Just with you, and we go through and we repeat. That was one. That was, okay, the scope is too big, so let me remove half for now and see if that changes something. And then there was also about not so much the hours, but showing him how to react to a situation, what answers should be coming to a question or to a query, what's the context of what the people are looking for, and also telling him, we work for the company. We don't work for individuals within the company. the value you want to create is for the company, shareholder, chairman, etc. So if somebody comes to you and asks to spend something that will make you spend 2 hours on creating a statistics and they are incapable of showing you, demonstrating to you the value for the company,
You say,
then don't do it.
don't do it. Yeah. Okay. Say no. Also an important one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And say no in Singapore.
Interesting.
Again, government, sorry. No, kidding. But
Interesting.
culturally speaking, no is something maybe French are very much used to, too used to, Europeans in general.
Well, I think European, that is very
Yeah.
European. You can be bold and you can say, hey, if you ask me a question and say, no, I don't see the validity of it, I say, Neil, sorry, but no, and vice versa. But that is something that is completely different in the cultural context here in Asia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not so much a can than a choice, right? European, in a way, we choose, most of us, we're generalizing right now, we choose to say no. We choose to disagree. We choose, even if it's natural or almost unconscious, we choose to consider that it's a norm. While here, the dialogues I've had, it's not so much that the people cannot say no, but as you say, it's cultural and it's not the way things are done.
Yeah.
And it has led to funny situations where at the beginning, I remember I would ask somebody or the teams to do something and nobody would say no. And then I come back 3 days later and it's not done.
Ah.
Yes. And I say, but I thought, we agreed or we talked about that and that at least, or you say can. Can is very large meaning, right?
Very open. An open answer.
And again, it took sharing, and it took moments, and it took also proof in the pudding to show that you can say no. Of course, you not say no just to say no, but ask why. It's also something I take from Musk, and I thank them, Silan, for that. Silan Musk. It's when I joined in 2019. Everywhere on the walls, there were small notes written, "Ask why."
Oh, wow.
And I loved it.
In the company?
Yes.
Throughout
the hallways.
Oh, wow.
And it was a big change compared to a previous company where it was more about doing things and, because management asked, and of course, usually they were right. But you arrive in the context and people say, ask why. And so that's why when you say, you can feel that I do things with passion and treat people as I wanted to be treated, it's absolutely that. I took the best of the French company, I took the best from the Danish company, and I applied it here, being given by management carte blanche to execute. And I think it worked.
Wow.
So before we go to the fireside questions, there's a tradition, which is I'm going to ask you the question from a previous guest.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so the previous guest is Mr. Peter Tirschwell. He's the head of JOC, Journal of Commerce, and the founder of TPM, a good friend. He asks, without knowing that would be you, what is the most important thing that people are not paying attention to? Doesn't have to be with shipping, can be spiritual, can be personal.
I think something that is overlooked in many situations is to connect with people. And the example can be as simple as going to a shop and buy something and at the cashier say, hello, how are you, or something like this. Just that split second where you're not the next one in line and you're part of a protocol or a process, but that you really make the contact. And I think if you make contact, there's also an opportunity, and you will not always use it, but there's an opportunity to see where's this person today, what is his day been like, how can I be a smile on his or her face. Search for that connection.
Okay, maybe last quote, and I have to read this one because it is belong. The upper ranks of corporate life are dominated by insecure overachievers people, driven by inadequacy and not having fun, even though they have supposedly won the race.
Yeah.
I think, I thought of that because of your point on being human and connecting.
But this is a very generic thing. I think there's a lot of situations where this can be true, but I think it will not always apply.
Of course.
If I make it personal, I tend to appreciate to work in family companies
Okay.
where the leadership is maybe a different breed, because that is people that is part of the family. Being part of the family, in my experience, has also been connected with being part of the passion. And if the leadership has the passion, that is so important, because even though that may result in them not always taking the best decisions, because they do it with a passion. But if you do something with that passion that is inside of you, and you feel so connected with a company, that is fantastic. That is that is very inspiring.
And I definitely agree, and of course it doesn't apply to everyone. But I think there's a major difference between entrepreneurship, small and medium-sized companies,
Yeah,
and
the bigger
corporates.
corporates. Yeah.
And you have to. There's no critique to corporate. I myself like corporatism is fine. I'm a writer in that. But how, when you lead 10,000 or 100,000 through your corporation, how do you cascade that passion that you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah,
right?
maybe it is size required. It's required by the size. Simple as that.
I think so.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fair play.
Thanks for that. So let's go to the fireside questions.
Yeah, well,
Questions that you can answer by yes, no, or one word.
good.
Of course, you have a joker if you don't like the question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm a boy from the 1990s, so I have silly questions.
Yeah.
Is pineapple on pizza legit?
Oh yes.
Okay. Does schedule reliability matters? You talked
Yeah.
about... we need to dive on that after. Because you talked about how tankers and liners are different. Very good. Shipping will reach net zero by 2050.
Eager to be part of that.
That's too many words, but okay. Sure. Do you have a favorite comedian, in the sense of stand-up comedian?
A comedian that I like is Mr. Bean.
Yes.
Can I add something to
Of
it,
course,
or is,
of course,
do
of
you
course.
keep it?
Go for it.
The thing is, Mr. Bean can be funny without language, and the type of humor he has got this British feeling of understatement, which is fantastic when he plays it. So yes, sorry. Yeah.
I love it. Good. Okay. Hub and spoke works.
Yeah.
What is your favorite music song? Do you have any?
Yes. My favorite artist will be Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
The song Dancing in the Dark, and in the song Can't Start a Fire Without a Spark. Really suits the bill.
Okay. That's a rounded answer. If you were a port, which one would you be?
I would be transport,
Transport.
because my passion is both in being a truck driver, which is something about transport, and I found the passion in shipping as well.
All right.
There's both in transport,
It's in
but
trans.
I'm afraid I'm not answering your question.
I love it. It's a very good answer.
And if you want a port, a geographical port, that's going to be Bilbao,
Why? One word.
Atlantic.
Okay. More words.
The roughness of the Atlantic Sea, the Atlantic Ocean,
Yeah.
sorry, that's what I like. And the place where it is beautiful. It's a very nice spot. Yes.
Okay. Resilience. That will be for Bilbao. That will be resilience towards this rough ocean. The ability to resist and stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. The last thing is for you to leave a question to the next guest. You don't know who they are.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter.
No. A question that is always interesting me would be the question: what is the thing that you're most proud of? And then you can maybe put it in a context professionally or whatever, or just leave it open.
Lovely. Thijs, thank you so much.
Okay, great.
Lovely.
Be good if we solve this now. Hey!